Hey, good morning.
Hello.
Hi, hello everyone. Hey,
Hi,
hello.
Jordan. How are you?
Good morning.
Good, good.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Shruti. All right, it's a couple after, so we can go ahead and get started here. For those who had joined last week, you have already heard my spiel about the TSC election, but I'm just gonna go ahead and refresh everyone's memories, and then also let people who weren't on the call last week know about the election. We're currently in the nomination period, which will go until the 5 p.m. Pacific time this Friday, the 13th. So if you would like to run for a seat on the TSC, there are 7 spots available. Make sure you are eligible first, which you can find here in this link. It'll take you to a spreadsheet that will show all your contributions. You need to have at least 20 measurable contributions. So if your name is on this list, that means you do qualify to run for the TSC. You also qualify to vote for the TSC, vote for the TSC seats. So to have the people for the TSC. Any other election information that you're curious about, you can find in section 3 here. Reminder that employees from the same organization or company should not be able to hold more than 1 TSC seat. So if multiple people from your company are planning to run, just keep that in mind that only one of you will be elected. with 7 seats available, if we don't get more than 7 nominations, then we will not need to hold a vote. But if we do get more than 7 nominations, then we will hold a vote. If you would like to nominate yourself or another eligible community member, just send myself an email at kperez@linuxfoundation.org with the candidate name, organization, and a nomination statement stating why you or they would be a good TSC member. This will just be sent out to all the voters, so they just have a full information about each of the candidates. Any questions on the election?
Thanks for setting this up, Kendall.
Of course, not a problem. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or Slack me. I'm always available. Just reminder though that this Friday is the deadline to get your nominations in, so please get those in before the deadline. All right, now I will pass it over to Lucas for his agenda item. Lucas?
Okay, I'm unmuted now. All right, so I actually have 3 things that rise to the level of TSC conversations. The first thing is the issue of private vulnerability reporting. This is something we've discussed before and decided to go forward with. And the gist of it is to use GitHub's new tools for reporting vulnerabilities rather than our sort of handmade things. I looked into it in detail in this past week. I found that there were 3 obstacles, 3 things to explore. And 2 of them are fixable, but these 2 items are fixable, but this one, the solution requires a conversation among the TSC. The issue is that notifications right now that use this system go to repo admin, Magma admin right here, and the owners group. And they really should go to security managers. Right, like to be fast and responsible about handling those things. I've set up a bunch of alerts and kind of taken the trouble to be sure they don't get lost and fall in the cracks. Which they actually kind of, there was no prioritization system before last year. To fix this, the solution would be right here. We'd have to basically add security to the owner group or to the repo Magma admin group. And that's clearly a TSC conversation. And the TSC, I think, would want to think about 2 sides of that. One is, does it matter? Is this enough value to make any change at all? And then secondly, is adding security, whoever's the security owner, to these groups, and a good thing. And I think that there is consensus towards. So let me open the floor on that issue. And you might say, yeah, this makes sense. Let's not overthink it. Let's just do it. Or you might.
I think it makes sense.
Cool.
Security group with owner permissions. Owner permissions is a very high level of permissions.
Yes.
And I think there you also have the delete repo button and stuff, which I don't think, or which is I don't know. I know that the our Magma repository is set up by LF to have some additional rules for the roles that are set up within the project. I think even a repository owner does not have all the permissions. And maybe that might mitigate my concern. Maybe we could have a chat with someone from LF that manages the permissions. I think they for sure know how to give the security group the right level of permissions. I think that would be a valuable resource that we should use.
What are your thoughts on that, Kendall?
Yeah, I mean, I can help with this.
Cool. It might also be that repo Magma admin has less elevated permissions. So it sounds like the next step in this is to have that conversation offline during the week. Does everybody agree on that?
Yeah, I think that works.
Yeah, that's
Cool. Okay, my next work item is planning for the future of security in the upcoming work after the transition. And the question here is, how do we want to proceed? What can we do, and what's our strategy overall? So I'm going to bring up two types of items. The first one is kind of a general way of proceeding. I propose to use something from the Open Chain project, which probably many of us are familiar with. That is the security assurance specification. Open Chain is best known for a compliance specification, but they've now built a new thing related to security. And this is a framework for security process. I will share a link to this as soon as I'm not talking anymore. And this is a checklist that kind of defines good workflows, such as policies, and going into much more detailed methods, talking about things like this. So this goes towards general visions for where Magma wants to go with security and how we're going to get there. And I want to, solicit people at the TSC level and just anybody in the community to think about security and what we should be doing on a large scale that's different than what we're doing right now.
Isn't that tailored more to companies? Should we more look at infrastructure best practices badge or something like that?
So from reading through this, I haven't seen things that are scoped to companies, and these things do seem like generally useful improvements. We do use the best practices badge as part of work streams and defining priorities and so on. And what's different about this is it's more of a checklist rather than a kind of broad set of prescriptions.
It's for sure a valuable resource.
Yeah, and at the least, like, just reading it carefully is useful. But I mean, what are your thoughts on security and how to pursue this in the coming year? And actually, let me jump to the next part of this that I wanted to bring up. This is also an agenda item, and that is these two. We have two items that are related to planning for where we want to go with security. And they're closely related, even though they came up separately. One is an issue that I filed on the library that we use for the mileage algorithm. I made the point that the library we're using doesn't really follow best practices. Most of all, don't roll your own. And if you do roll something, do a good job of it, because it's a classic place for people to break through. In a related piece of work, Seb Wolf posted this issue about the Redis library for C++ that we are plainly not using the best of breed and should figure out how to get to best of breed. And again, a security issue. So what both of these items have in common, the mylineage item and the Redis library, is that we need to find some engineering time to do this work, and how to do that is not clear. So with that said, let me open the floor to thoughts.
I would also add the security issue 114. 114. Um, 114.
114. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. We have GNU TLS from 2012 installed in all Magma installations. I think that's 2014. Sorry.
Yeah.
But
Again, kind of comes down to that question of, we know what we need to do now. How do we muster the resources to do it?
I wonder if that's something that needs to be tabled until you have the new TSC board to have it properly voted. I think there's funds available for this type of activity. It's just a question of aligning on that piece. But I don't know how we do that until we have that TSC board set up. So we're like 2 weeks away from that, right?
Indeed. I mean, I think that we want to put these questions in front of the board for discussion. So I agree. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Max.
I just wanted to say, I think there's more than just, so there's more work to do than, and some contributions that need to happen organically on top of funded work. I think we should give security issues more visibility and more priority in some way, since they are not happening organically. I think funded work will help, but I think it's not. I wouldn't just wait for funded work. I think there's also a possibility for contributions and for someone to step up.
This is also an area where we should get a little bit more feedback from the community users and stuff like that. Maybe people have already solved this in the user community. They'll be interested in upstreaming and so on. So along with the TSC formation, I think it'll be useful to get the town hall feedback on this for stack ranking the issues.
So maybe a community discussion of the items to prioritize.
Yes, community feedback for the TSC to prioritize it. Yes, correct.
So I guess that's it. We probably should move on without burning too much more time on this, but I'd really welcome, thoughts and initiatives about what we should do next. And thank you for this time, Kendall.
Thank you. Okay, next we'll go to Nils for the simplification of code owner groups.
Yeah, hi everybody. I would pass this over to Max because I have to jump out in a minute.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Fine with me. Hey, I think the proposal was mentioned last week already. And so the proposal was to reduce to simplify the code owner structure and to therefore streamline reviewing and give more tools or more permissions to the community, and also mitigate that some parts of the code base are less maintained than others, by collapsing the code owner groups into 3 groups called Gateway, Cloud, and Infrastructure. So that's the high-level idea for code ownership. This still comes with some complexity, like even if we have just 3 code owner groups, we need groups for other permission levels, not just code ownership, like CI access and CI permissions. So there will be more groups. But yeah, the idea is to reduce the overall complexity. Let me share the link in Zoom chat if I'm able to. And maybe I'm even able to share my screen, but that's up for so I'm able to. I'm rambling, but here's my screen, and I have Redshift enabled, as you see. But yeah, that's the proposal, to collapse code ownership rules and code ownership groups into these 3 groups. Keep the TSC group as a separate level of code ownership, but merge everything else down to these 3 groups. And yeah, that is up for debate. Is there any disagreement with that? Is someone saying that that's a bad idea? Are there points that speak against that approach? Or do we see issues with that?
I wonder what the risks are in making this change. And I'll say the only one that I can think of, which is there might be approvals from people who are not qualified to make the approval, but I can't think of any other downsides.
Mm-hmm. I agree, that's one of the potential issues. So
but the pool of approval is shrinking, so anyway, so
sorry, I wasn't able to fully understand you.
the pool of approval is shrinking, so anyway, we don't have a choice.
Yeah. And there are parts that are just underrepresented right now by contributors, and this approach keeps us actionable.
I think, yeah, sorry to just one thought. Where we will put the third-party items, like GTP kernel module, Open vSwitch.
They are right now covered somehow. Let me just check.
Yeah. Yes, maybe it's smart to create another 4th group for this. Or to explicitly add them to one of the groups, by the way.
Yeah, right now, GTP is managed by Access Gateway Pipeline D Approvers Group. And the build scripts are right now part of Approvers CI, and that are the 2 folders of third party that are explicitly linked. So the packaging for third party will be within Approvers Infra, and the GTP Open vSwitch additions will be in the Gateway Approvers group.
There are libraries in the third parties. There are build scripts, but they are building the libraries which are required to build the gateway in the cloud. And this is my concern, because somebody will approve build script, but actually he will add new library.
These are build scripts for repackaging or for repackaging dependencies with some patches. Yes.
Correct. Correct. There are around 11 libraries which are built with these scripts,
Yeah.
which are required to properly build the distribution. Exactly. So something is changed on these scripts. It will not just change the script, it will change the build on the gateway itself.
But that's also true for the other build scripts and for dependency management, which is already in the hand of CI and approvers.
Is it? I think this is a special case. I mean, if it is the case, okay, but I think this would be the special case. Anyway, I mean, just have a thought on this.
I think the we have scripts that define dependencies, and if you are afraid of modifying the installation, that is the more crucial point where you can where you need to be strict and just allow the what you expect, right? And so that's within build, but we also have FPM commands for building Magma, building and packaging Magma, and they are, I think, way more crucial than third-party scripts. And since the third party and the registry is under control of CI code owners, it's also right to give them the permissions for the scripts that build the things that get pushed to CI, pushed to the registry. And I think here's the crucial thing. Is that okay? Or do you have more questions?
And I mean, it's okay for me, as I said, as long as we understand what is the meaning of this. The dependencies should be handled. Basically, both groups should handle the dependencies. If somebody is changing the dependency, in the gateway, the CI group should also accept the dependency. So somehow this needs to be clear for everybody. If you understand what I'm trying to say, because these are not just changing on the normal changes. These are changes which will have impact across the whole thing. When you change the libraries, you have impact across everything.
Yeah. Any other concerns or comments? If not, do we have quorum to vote on that?
Yeah, it looks like we do actually.
Mhm.
All right, who would like to raise the motion?
I would like to raise the motion to vote on simplification of code owner groups.
Anyone like to second?
Yeah,
Thank you,
I can
Siobhan.
second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Oh, yeah, I say aye. Okay, before I was waiting.
Any abstains? All right, great. The motion carries.
Great.
I think I came back at the right moment. So thank you for discussing it.
Perfect. Yeah, Kendall, I think we need to discuss how to realize that.
Yes.
I think that needs code changes and organizational GitHub changes at the same time.
Yes, we can work on that offline.
Great. Good. I think as far as I remember, that was the last item on the agenda.
It was.
Anything someone wants to bring up spontaneously? Sounds like there's nothing.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great Monday.
Right.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.